Okay, student, first of all, I will discuss here again. Today is the harmonic function. In recording I started because I will share the uh, recorded recorded lecture with you. Okay, our solution phi of xy of Laplacian equation is given. Okay, if it is satisfied, then Laplacian equation is, for example, I start from the previous. Okay, in a harmonic function, student, that two things should be, first of all, the derivative must be exist. Okay, and the Laplacian equation must be satisfied. That is called the harmonic function. Partial square phi over partial x square plus partial square phi over partial y square is equal to 0. If the function is given is in phi form, then you write it phi. If it is f right here, then you can say right, you can put here. If there is the word u, then you can put here the u. Okay, Laplace equation should be satisfied. CR equation, Cauchy Riemann equation should be satisfied. And f of s z is equal to u of xy plus iota v of xy. U of xy is the real part and v of xy is the imaginary part of the complex function. And first of all, I will discuss here about the harmonic function, a real valued function phi of two variables x and y that has continuous first and second derivative, partial derivatives in a domain D and satisfy the Laplace equation. This is called the said to be the harmonic function if it is satisfied the Laplace equation. And second thing is conjugate, harmonic conjugate. And basically there are the two real parts. Okay, we have just shown that if a function f of z is equal to u of xy plus iota v of y is analytical in a domain D, then its real part and imaginary parts u and v are necessarily harmonic in D. Now suppose that u of xy is a given real function that is known to be a harmonic in D. If it is possible to find another real harmonic function so that u and v satisfy the Cauchy Riemann equation, okay, that is the condition of the must of the harmonic conjugate function throughout the domain D, and then find the v of xy is a harmonic conjugate of u. Okay, अगर आपसे कहा जाता है कि u का हार्मोनिक कॉन्जुगेट निकाला जाए तो then you have to find the v value and you have to also find out there is the variable, for example constant value, you have also find out. Okay, I will solve, then you will understand. By combining the function u of xy plus iota v of xy, we obtain a function that is analytical in T. Harmonic conjugate, verify that function u of xy is equal to x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y is harmonic in the entire complex plane. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, this is your the course outline. Okay, harmonic function is basically partial square phi. You can write here phi because phi, because u is the real part. That's why I mentioned here partial square phi over partial x square plus partial square phi over partial y square is equal to 0. Okay, now its outline is exercise 3.3, example number 1 and 2. Okay. First of all, I'm solving here the example number 2. Example number 2, verify that the function u of xy u of xy is equal to, okay, function is basically u of xy is equal to x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y is harmonic. In the entire complex plane Okay, fine. Okay. Now we are students in the solution. You will write here the function given. This is equal to u of xy is equal to x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y. Okay, this is the function u. And now you have to find out the taking the derivative. This is, for example, card the question number one. Taking derivative with respect to x. With respect to x. So partial u of xy, partial u by partial x is equal to partial by partial x of x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y. So if I take the derivative with respect to x, then partial u by partial x is equal to, for example, I ignored these two variables right this time. So this is equal to 3x square minus 3y square. Okay, this is the partial derivative with respect to x. And then again differentiate with respect to x. Then I write here the partial square u by partial x square and again derivative of x partial by partial x of 3x square minus 3y square. So its value should be equal to 3 multiplied by 2 x to power 2 minus 1 and minus 3y square is 0. So partial square u by partial x square value is equal to 6x. Partial square u by partial x square is equal to 6x. Again, consider equation number 1. U of xy, question again write the statement. U of xy is equal to x cube minus 3xy square x cube minus 3xy square, and the last one is value is minus 5y, I think so. Yes, minus 5y. Minus 5y. So differentiate with respect to now y of the question statement, equation number 1. So partial u by partial y is equal to partial by partial y into x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y. So x cube derivative is 0 minus 3 multiplied by 2 x y raised power 2 minus 1 and minus 5y. Y derivative is 1. So minus 6xy, y raised power 1 because 2 minus 1 and minus 5. This is the partial u by partial y. Okay. So again differentiate with respect to y. So partial square u by partial y square is equal to partial by partial y minus 6xy minus 5. This is equal to minus 6 uh, x into 1 and minus 0. Okay, 5 derivative of the y with 5 with respect to y is because it is a constant value, so its derivative is 0. So its result is minus 6x. This is the partial square u by partial y square. Okay, now partial square, and that is the equation number 3. Okay, from the question number 2, partial square u by partial x square is also the 6x, but partial square u by partial y square is minus 6x. So Laplace equation of u, partial square u by partial x square plus partial square u by partial y square, and is equal to 0, you can also write here, okay, by putting equation number 2 and 3. So its result is 6x plus into plus into minus 6x. So 0 is equal to 0. Okay. Now Laplace equation is satisfied. That's why it is a harmonic function. So Laplace equation is satisfied. That's why U is a harmonic function. Capital U is a harmonic function. Okay, that is the criteria for the harmonic function, that partial u by partial x and partial u by partial, there's two times if we take the derivatives and then we sum up to both double derivatives and then we find the result 0. So, okay, now we will discuss about the topic of the conjugate function. Okay, in the conjugate function, there should be must satisfy the CR equations, Cauchy Riemann equation. Okay, and also we have to prove that the, for example, I again, first of all, I read out the part number B. Find the harmonic conjugate. Okay, two things are asked here, that the harmonic conjugate function of V, U. In it is, first of all, students, we satisfy the CR equations, and from the satisfaction of the CR equations, we find the constant value of the constant of h of x, I think so, and then we find the function of, I think so, V function, that it would be the conjugate of U. Okay, we will satisfy the, okay, in the, for example, in roughly sketching, I show you that in the roughly manners, because I have also right here in a right way. Okay, for example, this is the Cauchy Riemann equation is the partial u by partial x is equal to partial v by partial y. Okay, and partial v by partial x is equal to minus partial u by partial y. Okay, so, for example, partial, but basically we have the, in a question, we have only the value of the u, not of the v. Okay. And so conjugate of the function of the u is basically, we have to find out the v value. This is the u function. Okay. This is the real part. So from the CR equation, we find out the value of the v. Okay. That is the harmonic conjugate function of u. Okay. And how we will find it, that partial u by partial x is equal to partial v by partial y. And similarly, partial u by partial y is equal to partial v by partial x is equal to minus partial u by partial x. From these both equations, we find out the value of the v of x by integration. We, with respect to y and with respect to x, we find out the combined function of the partial v by partial x, and then we will integrate again. It is okay, and then we will find the value of the h. For example, h dash of x is equal to 5. Okay, student, now I will start here, that how we will start the equation and how we will. Okay. Hmm. For the purpose of the smooth of understanding, I will write here step by step. Okay. Our function is B part. We have to find out in the B part, find the conjugate harmonic harmonic of u. Okay. Of u means कि आपने इसका कंजुगेट जो है वो आपने यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट v. ओके. अब यहाँ पे आपको सिर्फ रियल पार्ट दिया गया है. इन द क्वेश्चन स्टेटमेंट देयर इज नॉट द वैल्यू ऑफ द आई. ओके. देयर इज ओनली मेंशन फाइंड द हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट फंक्शन. फाइंड द हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट. फाइंड द हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट फंक्शन of u. Okay, may I write here only the hint that conjugate of u जो है it's mean we have to find the value of the v. Okay. And in the solution we have the only the real part of the function. Okay, in a complex function there are real and imaginary parts, but we have only the real part. So given this is value is u of xy is equal to x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y. How we will find the value of the v? By using the CR equation. Okay, Cauchy Riemann equations. It must satisfy. It is understood that it must satisfy the Cauchy Riemann equation. From where we will find the value of the v. So CR equations. Okay. So CR equations are, there are two equations. Partial u by partial x is equal to, I think so, partial v by partial y, and partial u by partial v is equal to, there is the, I think, minus sign. I check again. Partial v by partial x. Okay. For example, in the b part, partial u by partial x. In fact, I write the right hand side on the left hand side. Okay. Partial v by partial x is equal to partial u by partial x. Okay. And partial v by partial x is equal to minus partial u by partial y. Okay. These are the CR equations. Okay. Here I put here the only we have the u value. Okay. It is its name is equation number 1. So I put here the by putting equation number 1. Okay, student. According to the steps you have to solve according to this recorded video, and according to my work you have to follow the all steps. Okay, there is right the only 1 and 2 steps, and also there is 2 steps of the related to answer, but you have to solve and write all parts. Okay, partial by partial x of u. U is x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y. Okay, partial by partial x is equal to partial v by partial y. Okay, and here minus partial by partial y, and value of the u is x cube minus 3xy square minus 5y is equal to partial v by partial x. Okay. So further, I write here 3x square minus 3 into 1 y square minus 0 is equal to partial v by partial y. So 3x square minus 3y square is equal to partial v by partial y, or left hand side on the right hand side and right hand side on left hand side, or I can write here partial v by partial y is equal to 3x square minus 3y square. Okay. This value, one equation, for example, I write here its part is, I think so, 3, part 4. I write here 4 equation. Okay, now partial v by partial y minus partial v by partial y is equal to minus 3 in the bracket I write it 3x square minus 3x and multiply by 2y raised power 2 minus 1. Okay, derivative of the y square. So minus, no, but 3x square variable is 0. Derivative of y of the x cube is 0 minus 3 multiplied by 2x y raised power 2 minus 1 and minus 5 into 1 is equal to partial v by partial y. Okay. Minus is multiplied by minus plus 3 plus 6xy minus 5 is equal to partial v by partial x. Okay, or partial v by partial x is equal to 6xy minus 5. Okay, this is your equation number 5. Okay, this is the partial v by partial y and this is the partial v by partial x. Okay, now from both values we find out the value of the v by integration. Okay, now we will strand by integration with respect to y. Okay, of this function is y. So in the y, integration of the partial v by partial y is equal to integration of 3x square minus 3y square. In fact, this value of the partial y would be there. So integration of the partial v is equal to integration of 3x square minus 3y square into dy. Okay, this value in the cross it would be dy. So its value will be in the integration of y is 3x square as it is, and there is the word of 1, so integration of 1 is y. Okay, 3, that is the integration of y. Partial and integration cancel to each other, that's mean v. Okay, and its result is 3 y square y only y, sorry, there is the only word y raised power 1, so minus 3 y raised power 1 plus 1 over only in the value of the y, in the denominator of y is 1 plus 1. Okay, in integration, student, in derivative we minus 1, and in the integration we use the in power plus 1, and this value is in the also in the denominator. Okay, so plus constant, constant mean there is the value of h of x, h of x. Okay, that is the plus c. You write here the value of the plus c. So plus c is right here the function plus h of x. Okay. So here we find, okay, fine. V is equal to 3x square y. This value is y square, student, consider please. 3y square, this is the value of 3y square. This is the 3y square. That is 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1. Okay, minus 3y cube over 3 plus h of x. So 3 is cancelled with this value, and then v is equal to 3x square y minus y cube plus h of x. You can see here v of x y only in the one line it is mentioned here, but there is the very steps that you have to write here. 3x square y minus y cube plus h of x. Okay, that is the value of the okay, fine. Okay, student. And it's also up to you that that is the partial v by, he only take the equation only one. We can also write here the equation number second, but only if he take only this value. Okay, fine. I also thought that we can also integrate with respect to x, then we can also find here the value of the, okay, fine, I solve. मैं इसमें देखना ये चाह रही हूँ कि इसमें दोनों इक्वेशन से आपको मिलती हैं v की वैल्यू, देखें यहाँ से भी आपको मिल रही है. ओके, यू कैन आल्सो फाइंड आउट द वैल्यू फ्रॉम द बोथ सी आर इक्वेशंस। यहाँ पे अपने इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ वाई किया तो ये डेरिवेटिव कैंसिल आउट होके वी की एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू सिंपल रह गई। सिमिलरली यहाँ इफ अगर आप यहाँ पे डेरिवेटिव इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ विद रिस्पेक्ट टू एक्स करते हैं तब भी आपके पास सेम वैल्यू ही आनी चाहिए, यानी वी के साथ भी आपके पास आ जाती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं यहाँ पे कर देती हूँ तो आप फाइंड आउट कर लेंगे। यानी यहाँ पे आपके पास अगर मैं इंटीग्रेशन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू एक्स करती हूँ तो वो भी 6x² y/2 आ जाएगा। ठीक है, इस पे पावर 1+1 हो जाएगी ना, तो वो भी 3x² y - 5y सेम आपके पास वैल्यू आ जाती है। बिकॉज आई हैव ओनली 4 minutes लेफ्ट, because I want to complete this question in the just of 4 minutes. Okay, student, this is the h of x. Okay, that is the v. Okay, but we have also differentiate with respect to I, because we have also find out the value of the h of x. So differentiate with respect to, basically this is the conjugate of u. Okay, conjugate, but differentiate with respect to एक्स। ओके, लुक एट दिस कि आपने इंटीग्रेशन ऑपोजिट वेरिएबल की ली है। ठीक है, देन अगेन आपको जो है उसके साथ अगेन करने से तो वही इक्वेशन आ जाएगी आपके पास। एच ऑफ एक्स आ गया ना, तो अगर मैं इसको अगेन डिफरेंशिएट कर रही हूँ तो वो तो 6x y - 3y² आ जाएगा। हाँ जी, अच्छा चलें जी, ठीक है। चलें इसको रखें, आपने इसको कंसिडर कर लें जो उसने उसकी दूसरी वैल्यू ली है। अब जी यहाँ पे देखिए ना, ये सी आर इक्वेशन उसने सेटिस्फाई की हैं, वहां से उसने एक इक्वेशन का इंटीग्रेशन वगैरह लेके तो उसने ये वाली वैल्यू निकाल दी आपकी 3x² y - 5q+h ऑफ x। ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे ये है कि पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल x को उसने अगेन लिया है, और ये मैं यही चीज देख रही हूँ कि उसने v की जो वैल्यू है उसका अगर उसने डेरिवेटिव लिया है तो ये 6xy आ गया, और ये 0+h' ऑफ x किया इसको, और फिर उसको उसने इसके इक्वेट किया है। चलें ठीक है जी, इसका डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं अब हम। इसी का पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल x इज इक्वल टू पार्शियल बाय पार्शियल x ऑफ 3x² y - 5q+h ऑफ x। ठीक है, और यहाँ पे ये आ जाता है 3x² है, डेरिवेटिव लेना है तो 3 × 2 x की पावर है 2 - 1 y - 0 प्लस h ऑफ x की जगह h' ऑफ x आ गया, और ये आ गया आपके पास पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल x। ठीक है, ये देखिए आपका इसी फर्स्ट वाली इक्वेशन से ही चलती जा रही है वैल्यू, तो ये आपके पास आ जाती है 6xy और प्लस h'/x। ठीक है, पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल x आपके पास आ गया है। अब ये तो आपका इससे वैल्यू से आया है, और जो दूसरी काशी रायमन इक्वेशन है उसके उसने इक्वेट कर दिया है इसको। ठीक है, यानी कि उसने कहा है कि इसके राइट साइड पे ये इक्वेशन नंबर 5 जो है वो 6xy - 5, 6xy - 5 ये पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल एक्स है। ठीक है, और ये है फ्रॉम, मैंने लिखा है यहाँ पे फ्रॉम इक्वेशन नंबर 5, आई थिंक सो 5 इक्वेशन इज दिस वुड बी द 6 इक्वेशन। ये पांचवी इक्वेशन है ना स्टूडेंट, यहाँ से मैं ये 2 दफा वीडियो आपको देखनी होगी। पांचवी इक्वेशन है और ये छठी इक्वेशन है। जी जी अरूबा जी, दिस इज द इक्वेशन नंबर
एक्सक्यूज
6
मी
है।
मैम।
एक मिनट ठहरिएगा, ये पांचवी इक्वेशन है, एक मिनट ठहरिए स्टूडेंट। यहाँ पे देखिए जो राइट साइड पे हमारी वैल्यू थी ना, हमने उसके मुताबिक ही इसको ले आए। पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल y था, उसको इंटीग्रेट किया, फिर उसका डेरिवेटिव लिया। अब हमने कहा कि हमने भी पार्शियल v बाय पार्शियल x से सी आर इक्वेशन जो पहली वाली है उससे निकाल लिया, ये दूसरी सी आर इक्वेशन का रिजल्ट है। अब हमने कहा कि पांचवी इक्वेशन से ये चीज आ गई है, तो अब हम इक्वेशन नंबर 5 और 6 को इक्वेट करते हैं। जी एक मिनट ठहरिएगा, 1 मिनट रह गया है मेरे पास, तो मैं चाह रही हूँ कि यहाँ से आपको ना, यहाँ पे देखें 6xy प्लस h'/x इज इक्वल टू 6xy - 5। ठीक है, ये इसके साथ कैंसिल हुआ, h'/x इज इक्वल टू 5 आया। अब आप इसके अंदर इंटीग्रेट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू x कर देते हैं तो आपके पास h(x) की वैल्यू आ जाएगी, जिसे आपने v में पुट कर देना है। इंटीग्रेट कर दें पार्शियल h बाय पार्शियल x को, तो यहाँ पे आपके पास ये तो कैंसिल हो गया, h की वैल्यू जो आ जाती है वो आ जाती है इंटीग्रेशन 5 dx है ना, तो ये आ जाएगी आपके पास 5x, एच की वैल्यू ये आ जाएगी। और जो आपके पास v का फंक्शन था, आपके पास जो आपने निकालना था, जी, v का था 3x² y माइनस वाई क्यूब, यहाँ पे h की वैल्यू जो है वो आपने पुट कर देनी है। ठीक है, तो 3x² y माइनस वाई क्यूब, v इज इक्वल टू 3x² y माइनस वाई क्यूब माइनस या प्लस एच ऑफ एक्स है, तो यहाँ पे पुटिंग एच ऑफ एक्स कर देंगे 3x² y माइनस वाई क्यूब प्लस 5x। ठीक है, ये आपके पास इक्वेशन आ जाएगी। इसका